Welcome to Sports Club, guys. Back from Tampa, Matt. Congratulations on making it back.
Thank
It's a
you.
tough city to get out of.
Yeah,
Lots of really not good games this week, but let's touch
it
on
was
some
a
of the.
really, really bad week in the NFL,
It
guys.
really was. It allowed a lot of us to catch up on
Driving.
fantasy. Yeah, that too. And let's just start with the Green Bay Packers winning again.
Okay.
And
And Dominican Sewer, we're gonna address that.
yeah, we're gonna have to address. Give me Calvin Johnson, give me Stafford with a little bit of attitude. At Georgia, you need an attitude. So I can understand those, but stomping a player and saying it's a balance issue, you
And then,
deserve at least 2 games, which is
yeah,
what he got.
coming up in the press conference, it would have been okay if he said I lost my cool. It's I'm sorry, but he said that he was removing himself from what he thought he was a bad situation, and that it was misinterpreted, and he even credited the man upstairs to knowing what his true intentions were. And I mean, at this point,
Was Roger Goodell in the booth that day? I
no,
don't know which big guy he
pretty
was talking
sure pretty
about.
sure we all know which man upstairs he was
Kids, he
talking
was
about.
not
But
talking about Santa Claus.
in case you're wondering, obviously wasn't Roger Goodell because he
No,
suspended him for 2 games.
I think that was a little light, and that's actually something an interactive segment I'm going to kind of bring to this week. As far as I'm concerned, my opinion on the whole thing is this is like strike number 3 or 4 for him this year,
It is.
and he was such a mild-mannered guy coming out of college and everything. Nobody
Yeah, he
saw
never
this.
had this problem in
No,
college.
to me, honest punishment should have been at least 3 games, if not maybe longer, just to
Well,
prove a point.
Albert Haynesworth a year ago or 2 years ago got 5 games for a similar incident,
Right,
and so a lot of people are wondering. Then again, Albert Haynesworth had a lot more problems before Ndamukong Suh,
right.
but
Like I say 3 to 5 games. What would your verdict be?
I think I'm okay with this one. This being the first suspension, I think I'm okay with two. But if this doesn't change, I mean, something's got to happen. This kid is ridiculous.
And as always, we'll remind you to end the show as well. But Lions fans and any fans whatsoever of the show, post on our Sports Club Facebook page or our Twitter page um, what you think his punishment should actually be. Look forward to seeing a lot of those, actually. A lot of Lions fans out there. But Green Bay does roll over Detroit in that one, 27-15. Aaron Rodgers, another good
Spectacular.
day. I mean, is he
What
going to
else
have
is
an off
new?
day? Yeah. Miami and Dallas actually had a close affair that went all the way down to the wire with Dallas just pulling that one out 20-19. But Romo's still looking good. Miami made a surge for once.
Well, I actually picked Miami in this game because Dallas has been on a kind of a downslide lately, and Miami had reeled off a couple wins in a row and actually started to resemble somewhat of a decent team. And I actually had Miami in this game, and was feeling pretty good about that for 3.5 quarters. And then the roof came off.
We'll get to those 3.5 quarter teams in a
Yeah,
second.
we
There's a
will.
couple more of those, but
Yeah, we should make a list.
yeah, but it may include a lot of the teams. But I mean, as far as it goes, is I heard this question on the Monday night and the Sunday night game. Is Dallas pretty much the shoe in to take this division?
I still don't know that there's a shoe in, but I think they've definitely got to be the favorite at this point, without question. They've got a pretty relatively easy schedule for the rest of the season.
And their number one competition, which we'll get to later, is falling apart.
Completely.
But also the Thursday night game, San Francisco and Baltimore, or the Battle of the Harbaughs.
Hmm.
Um, it lived up to expectations as far as the chess match, but I don't think any of us saw San Francisco only getting 6 points on the
No,
board,
I
and that
definitely
was two
didn't.
field goals.
I definitely did not think that San Francisco was going to be held to 6 points, nor did I see the Ravens really capable of scoring 16.
Still did not get a rushing touchdown
That's
scored on San
that's
Francisco, though.
very true.
That's a pretty good streak going. We'll get to the other fun streak too. There's a lot we can talk about later on. We're gonna get to but we have to get to it first. Minnesota at Atlanta. It's hard to beat Atlanta in the dome.
And 3 losses in the last 3 years, I think,
Yeah,
in the dome. And I mean, just we don't give Atlanta enough credit for as really good as they are. They struggled early in the season, but
exactly.
they've really turned into a really good football team.
I mean, right now they're the second wild card team. There's a strong chance we're gonna see some playoff games this year.
And I think Matt Ryan may finally have enough experience under his belt to do something in the playoffs. I'm just saying, it hurts me to say this, but watch out for the Atlanta Falcons.
Finally has enough weapons. But Cleveland, Cincinnati, and
It was an okay
it
game.
was kind of up and down.
It was.
Just it's hard to get behind the Browns, even though they hung on to this game like
Well,
this. But the Cincinnati offense, Andy Dalton has proven that this guy's going to be probably a record breaker down the road.
Andy Dalton and AJ Green are just ridiculous combination for rookies. I mean, for
Oh
two
yeah,
rookies, they're unmatched right now.
and they're linking up now. What are they going to do 5 years from now?
Exactly. And you think they can build a team, draft a
Oh
really
yeah,
young running back? I mean, the Bengals could be something in a couple years. I mean, really, really something.
absolutely. And like I said last week, I did pick Indy instead of Carolina in honor of you being gone. But Cam Newton leads them to another victory. I know you don't care for him much, but
I
you
don't.
know, like that Tebow guy we're going to mention here in a minute, he's getting wins.
Well, exactly. It doesn't matter how I personally feel about the guy. I mean, the bottom line is he's winning, and if a lot of people picked them to finish in the basement of the NFC South this year without question. If they beat Tampa this weekend, they will actually get out of the basement and put Tampa in the basement.
Exactly. And speaking of Tampa, Tampa was in Tennessee against familiar face Barrett Rude.
Yep. Who was actually out the whole game though.
Yeah, well, they still got to
Still
high
there.
five him and
Yeah.
see how his family's doing and everything. But actually, Tampa loses a close one there, 23-17. I really thought they were going to pull it out, and
Uh,
then the wheels seemed to fall off.
Another really good game for 3.5 quarters, and then
Hmm.
they all but stopped playing.
Yep,
Defense gave up a touchdown, and Josh Freeman threw an interception on his first comeback drive, and then the second one he fumbled the ball, both times killing any shot of a comeback.
yep. And even though we like to put Atlanta in the same boat as Tampa Bay as far as one of the 3.5 quarter teams, at least Atlanta's still winning when they do
Atlanta
it.
is winning, and that's the bottom line.
And that's
This
Tampa
is
Bay's got to figure out what to do.
the
I
fifth
mean,
consecutive loss for Tampa Bay, and a lot of people are wondering, is Raheem Morris on the hot seat in just his third year now?
there's a lot of free agent coaches going to be out there,
There
so
are going to be a lot of free
time will
agent
only
coaches.
tell on that one. Houston, Jacksonville, actually, and we really want to mention Jacksonville for a lot of reasons. But let's tackle Houston first. We have Matt Schaub leads the offense, does great and everything.
Gets hurt by Albert Haynesworth and against the
Exactly.
Bucks.
I'm sure he apologizes for that.
No.
So they put in Matt Leinart. Matt Leinart wasn't doing all that bad. Was doing pretty good, and
And
then
guess what?
broken collarbone.
Out for the
He's out.
season.
Now they're to Tyler Yates.
Who?
He's actually the rookie out of North Carolina, not far from here. Went to Pope High School, actually, not far from where we're at right now.
Hometown kid.
Exactly.
Now starting NFL quarterback.
Exactly. I'm gonna actually go out on a limb here and say that um, he's my Caleb Haney for the year. TJ Yates is the guy I'm gonna be in his corner here. I actually want him to do well because he seems like a good guy. He played a good game. Time will
He
tell what he
did.
does here.
Yep. Now we got to mention Jacksonville.
Yeah, we got to mention Jacksonville. They're actually gonna have a new coach.
Announced today that Jack Del Rio has been fired after a pretty. I saw his final career record. I forget exactly what it was. I don't think I have it pulled up, but
It
it
was
was
very bad.
very mediocre. Uh, Only two playoff appearances under his regime,
Exactly.
and they're selling the team.
Right.
And you got to figure Los Angeles is now throwing a party for themselves.
Exactly. As a Thrasher fan, Jacksonville fans listen to this. You might as well either move to LA or sell your stuff now because they're gone.
It's gonna happen.
It's
Yeah,
gonna happen, and they actually need a change because I mean,
they do.
past Jones Drew, they don't really have much there. Gabbert's okay, but they're
Yeah,
actually, I believe, I'm not sure if he's starting this week. That was still up in the air before we went on.
yeah. I'm not sure on that either.
But another bottom feeder game, as I like to call them, the Cardinals and the Rams.
Yeah, this was a really, really boring game.
It really was. Skelton had a pretty good day. 23-20, Arizona over St. Louis with that one. Um, if you're St. Louis or Arizona, enjoy those draft picks. I don't think they're going to go for a quarterback.
No, no.
Arizona may try, but
They may try, but we'll see how that works out.
and the last 1 o'clock game, uh, the ever failing Buffalo Bills were at the Jets. This was actually a close game that went pretty back and forth. Two teams that really needed to step up, and for the most part, they did step up. But the Jets are going to pull this one out, 28-24. Rex Ryan's happy, and the Bills, sorry Megan, are still continuing to go in a downward spiral. They may be in the center of the earth for the end of the
And
season.
the Bills are who we thought they were, and they're falling apart, like it or not. I mean, the wheels have just come off the wagon.
I mean, are they still looking at playoffs at
I
this
don't
point?
think so. I think now they're looking at salvaging a season. This coming from a fan of a team who, with the exact same high expectations, now just
Exactly.
trying to salvage a season.
Another
It
reason
takes
why.
one to know one.
Exactly. Definitely.
Seattle beating Washington. Uh,
This was actually a close game. We had 4 games on at the Taco Mac in Douglasville. Once again, that's a great place to go watch a game. If you guys can't make it to Mellow Mushroom and Hiram, Taco Mac in Douglasville is great. They were very warming and everything.
uh, as bad as all these teams are, when bad teams play bad teams, they still make for some somewhat interesting of games
Oh yes.
because as bad as the games are, as a close score, high intensity,
I mean, this
you
game
know,
was 7-7 for
a
it
long
a
time,
very long time, and then just the floodgates opened and it became a high scoring affair.
very quickly. But a game not much of the nation showed very much interest in, and
No.
so we won't either in the show. New England clobbered Philadelphia. I mean, just destroyed Philadelphia,
Oh, and
38. Uh, Philadelphia did manage to make it somewhat decent, respectable at least in the end,
yeah, towards the end.
but it was not a close game. It
No.
was when they scored their last touchdown. I believe Brian Hoyer was in for Tom Brady. So
Wow, and Brady loves to play the entire
yeah,
game, so that
I mean that shows you how bad of a game it was for Philadelphia.
definitely. And after this week, we'll mention the other guy I'm going to mention here, but Tom Brady and Drew Brees, who we will mention in a second, are on pace to break the single season passing yard record of Marino. And at this pace right now, that fun little Aaron Rodgers is going to be 29 yards short.
Oh well, I have a my best friend is a Patriot, huge Patriots fan, and he is living it up right now because the Patriots actually do not face a team for the rest of the season that has above 500 record. And so, I mean, you've got to think that the Patriots should at least, and if not will, easily coast to the number one seed in the AFC. And now it's just a matter of seeing if they can finally win in the playoffs.
That's very true. They've struggled with that lately.
But we'll get to that when playoffs come around.
Oh yeah,
Uh, so here we go, the Denver San Diego game.
we have to
Uh,
mention it again because once again,
Gotta talk
because
about Tim Tebow.
because San Diego didn't put this game away 3 or 4 different times between the fourth quarter and overtime, you give Timmy Tebow a chance to pick up monster yards and beat you.
And this, I actually watched this game, because I have the NFL Sunday ticket package. I watched the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and the entire overtime. And me and Cody watched this game together, and for the longest time, we were convinced that this game was going to end in a tie. I mean, it was.
I really thought so because Denver, when they got that first possession, took up like 10 minutes off the clock of overtime.
And when you think, I mean, when we were talking about just how long have we ever seen a playoff game? I mean, a overtime game in our life go this far, and with 2 minutes left in overtime, Denver finally got the game-winning field goal into the game, and just spectacular.
16-13 on that, and Philip Rivers continues to have a down year. I
And
hate it for him because he's a good quarterback. Other years when he had all those weapons, but to me, North Turner should be the next guy out as far as
and he
coaches,
might be, he just might be.
and they need to redo that team a little bit.
And that's very much a possibility. They always have high expectations, always a lot expected out of San Diego. This again, they may not even make the playoffs this year, let
Yeah,
alone finally win a Super Bowl. So Pittsburgh, Kansas City, in a really, really, really boring game that was not at all what was expected actually.
yeah, Pittsburgh's pulling out the wins, but they're pulling them out kind of Tebow
You
style in a way.
expected Pittsburgh to be able to handle Kansas City rather easily, even at Kansas City,
Exactly.
and
It's
it
just,
just that wasn't the case at
I mean,
all.
Kansas City almost had the winning drive in the end. They come back and beat them there. And no joke, I hate to keep saying the Tebow word, but it's like Big Ben is watching Tebow tapes and he's just barely hanging on and winning by a score here, a score there, instead of being Pittsburgh and dominating. And rumor going around right now that Palomalu may be out the rest of the season
With a
after his third
concussion,
concussion.
yeah.
He took a nasty hit, knee to the back of the head in the first play of the game. And
But
whenever they take your helmet, you're done.
yep, and it's sad and unfortunate, but that's the sport. That's what he chose. And
Actually, the other 4 o'clock game, real quick, we got to hit on it because we have a lot of fans that are from Chicago or that follow the Bears. Chicago and Oakland, in what turned into be a lot better game. I really thought Chicago was going to pull this one out. Caleb Haney is not doing terrible. He did have 3 picks,
yeah,
but how long did it take Cutler to learn the Mike Martz system?
longer than Caleb Haney
I
has
mean,
got to learn it.
as much as I like John Gruden, his system is about as complicated as
Yeah,
Mike Martz. It takes a long time to realize that it's in English. I mean, give him a couple more games and we'll see if he's worth anything, really.
yep,
I mean, he finally gets his chance to shine. But
yeah,
25-20 on that one. Carson Palmer with a pretty good day.
yep,
Amazingly, all he just didn't want to be a Bengal.
yeah. Well, and it turns out he's actually a decent quarterback when
Yeah,
when he's happy.
who knew?
The Monday Night Football game. I'll be honest with this. I didn't even watch this game. I turned it on in the fourth quarter,
Oh, you
saw the score, and changed the channel.
you missed the Drew Brees exhibition on
Yeah,
how to be a
well,
quarterback because
hence I didn't watch it. So,
they kept doing flashbacks to the quarterback meeting the day before between
oh,
Sean
I did see
Payton.
that today. I
Yeah,
saw that
they
today.
Sean Payton, Drew Brees,
Zebra right
and
X 44 slot.
yeah,
Yeah, it
they
was.
would name a play like, well, in this situation, we want to address this, and then they'd go back to the game and show you the highlight of in that situation they ran that play. And
And other coaches are really appreciating that right
oh
now.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. But obviously they won't do that this week. But they
Yeah.
roll again, 49-24
If
over
you're
a
a Saints
Giants team.
fan, go crazy.
Yeah.
Your team's still rolling. If you're not a Saints fan like me, find something on Comedy Central to watch.
But like I said, 49-24 on that one to a Giants team that is not as bad as their record will show you. Their defense is very good this year, but they're streaky, and Eli Manning can't do it by himself.
Oh, if you guys are wondering why me and Jeremy are wearing orange, this is actually the weekend that the Bucks are going to do the annual throwback game and wear the creamsicle uniforms. And big deal this year with Leroy Selman passing away. You know,
Yeah,
he was honored the first time that we wore the creamsicle in
I actually
'09,
have the Selma shirt under
but
this.
it's going to be an emotional and a big deal in Tampa, and hope they can get a win against Carolina.
Oh yeah,
They're going to
as much as we
desperately
try
need it.
not to homer for them all the
Yeah,
time, they are the team we like to pull for the
we are
most.
professionals, but we
Yeah,
are going to support our team.
and definitely for Leroy Selman, who was just a gifted
Incredible,
athlete who
absolutely.
did so much for the area even.
But wait till you see what the next guys are wearing, and you'll understand. If we can rep our team, they can rep theirs. So it's only fair. So
Yeah, speaking of that, let's hit a few of those real quick.
okay,
Two quick games because a lot of our followers, I actually ran into a couple of them at the UGA game. I appreciate the hospitality of the Georgia Tech staff and everything. We had a great time. Georgia over Georgia Tech in that one.
what else is new? 10 of the last 11 years.
Exactly. But Tech's gonna hang on to that one win,
Yep. Personally, as a Georgia fan, I don't see how they do it. I would kill myself if
and that sets up the SEC championship this week.
LSU versus Georgia.
Which
We'll
the
see.
reason we watch the game is sometimes
Anything
the
can
the
happen.
small guy wins. So
We'll see. It'll definitely be David versus Goliath. That's
definitely.
for sure.
And they'll announce the fun thing with their school, but I'm glad to say Michigan took care of Ohio State this week.
Michigan did beat Ohio
I
State.
hated I couldn't watch it, but I enjoyed being at the Georgia game. So I look forward to a lot more of those wins, regardless of who they bring in as
We'll
coach.
see.
But that's going to do it for us this week. Stay tuned for the
Preview show.
yeah the preview show.
That's the word you're looking for.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. And what was it? Oh, our co-host says Merry Christmas to everybody in this holiday season.
Does look good
We,
behind us,
we
doesn't
we
it?
did have to bring them back since they were our popular guest host last year. The Christmas tree is back for a little while. Uh, Stay tuned for the preview show.
Thanks, guys.